Welcome to Direct Approach, a bi-weekly podcast hosted by Wayne Moorhead, filled with timely insights, fresh perspectives, and actionable takeaways from your direct selling executive peers to help fuel the growth and evolution of your business. On this episode, Wayne talks with Kenya Vergara Zatarain, Global Marketing Director of Omnilife and Omnilife board member, who is carrying on her family's 32-year legacy in direct selling. Recently ranked number 21 on the DSN Global 100 list, earning $633 million in annual revenue for 2023. Kenya shares invaluable insights into Omnilife's philosophy, rooted in cultural understanding and personal connections. From their founding vision to innovative marketing strategies, learn how authenticity and hard work have paved their path to success in Latin America and beyond. Tune in now as Kenya shares how they approach each market by understanding cultural needs, tropicalizing offerings, and maintaining personal connections. But before we begin, we want to thank this episode's sponsor, Exego. Exego was started by a team of experts with a single vision: to overturn the archaic, restrictive model of housing data and create an entirely new platform from the ground up. From your first dollar to your billionth and beyond, Exego's platform scales in lockstep with your global growth, aspirations, and vision. With clients in 120 countries, supporting 40 currencies and 30 languages, plus over 200 open APIs and SDKs, they empower an existing tech team to control their own best-in-class solution. To connect and learn more, visit xego.com. That's CXIGO.com. Now, let's welcome your host, Wayne Moorhead, and today's guest, Global Marketing Director of Omnilife and Omnilife board member, Kenya Vergara Zatarain.
Hello and welcome to another episode of DSN's Direct Approach podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Moorhead, and today's guest has been in and around direct selling for her entire life. She began her career at the company in 2018 as director of the beauty category and quickly took on greater responsibility for additional categories and product lines. And today she's responsible for global marketing and innovation. She also has a degree from the renowned Savannah College of Art and Design. I'm excited to welcome Kenya Vergara Zatarain, Global Marketing Director of Omnilife and Omnilife board member. Kenya, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Wayne. I'm really excited to be here.
We are as well. And again, we got such great feedback from the webinar that you were kind enough to be a part of. And so we're so excited to have you here today and to be able to dig into a little bit more on your family story and the company story. And with that, we'd love to know a little bit about this inspiring path that led you into the company and into direct selling. Can you share that with us?
Yes, I was really excited to participate, and thank you for having me in this podcast. So honestly, when they asked me about my experience with Omnilife or multi-level, I always say that I've been here for 30 years. I'm 30 years. So since I was born, I've been part of this. I grew up in the events, in the office, in the trips, everything. So I've been part of the company's story since the beginning. And also the values and the vision and the mission and everything was the same in my house, was the same in my school. So honestly, I share the DNA with the company values. I go by the same values every day. So for me, it's something natural. I've been living in this Omnilife world or Omnilife family, my extended family since I was born. So I guess obviously I'm very young and I've been working as a full-time professional in Omnilife since 2018. But I always known what it's important to Omnilife, what's the vision, what's our mission to taking care of people. So I think that's been very interesting for my career. It has really helped me a lot to know where we're going. And the story is really interesting. My dad and my mom founded a company. They were broke. They were working in something different. They try a lot of businesses. My dad did have experience in multi-level, and he was a great salesman that he learned with other jobs. And they started with they wanted to change their lives. They wanted to live better. They wanted to be healthier. They wanted to provide to their children. They had a vision to change people's lives since the beginning. And I think that's a core of my life, to change people's lives since the day one. And at first, they were broke. They didn't have any products. But since they had so much passion of what they believe, and they had the vision to create Omnilife and to be a great platform for people to achieve their goals. And that's how they started. They started with one product that the first time they tried to sell it, it didn't arrive. So they were talking to people without a physical product, but they knew that the product was amazing. So they knew the results, they knew the quality, they invested a lot of money on the product. So it was really interesting with our founders that started with my parents as distributors. They also wanted something different. They didn't find the answers in other places. So I think that common vision, it's what started Omnilife, and that's how we started growing. It was a really fast grow. We started opening countries organically. People started getting to know the products. We opened our manufacture center to start to producing the products here in Guadalajara, Mexico. So everything went really fast, but I think after 32 years, the values and the mission, it's what hasn't changed at all.
Yeah,
So
that is such an inspiring story, and it must be such an incredible way to grow up, where all you know is that community of distributors, of employees, of that company. Must give you incredible perspective as a leader there now. And there's a couple things that really stand out to me about the founding story and your parents' story. Is they really, it sounds like, wanted to start the company for the same reason that so many of our distributors and sales force join as well. They wanted to change their lives. They wanted to provide for their family. They wanted to grow as individuals. And this really is kind of the driver for so many of those people that join our companies, and is the reason that so many stay with us long term.
yeah.
And I find it also really interesting that they didn't have a product. They didn't start with a product, but they started with a vision. And while that might have, I'm sure, been stressful to them at the time, I think that starting with the vision definitely probably made all the difference in creating this incredible long-term company.
Yes. I think my dad was a visionary. He probably didn't know how to do it, but he really knew what he wanted. And with the support of my mom was backstage, but she was doing all the work in the office and trying to produce more products and to grow our staff and everything. And my dad knew exactly what he wanted. So I think that match, or that balance, was really interesting, because the foundations were really strong since the beginning. So both parts really made a company that it's really strong, and obviously for us now, my brothers and my sisters, now we have a really good base to now change Omnilife, do it better, keep growing, keep improving, but because we have a good structure. My parents really did things really good. We have our values that are super important for us. We have our mission to change people's lives and to take care of people really strong. And I think that's because they did the things really well since the beginning.
Yeah, and it is so interesting. And it's a thread in a lot of successful companies where those founders, your parents, they each have their own unique skill set, their own superpowers that come together and create something really incredible. And I think that's amazing, and that I've seen in really successful companies. It's definitely a common part of the story. From the very beginning, the company focused on this idea, this concept of multi-development. So some companies are going to be more product focused, some are going to be more opportunity focused, but the company took a really comprehensive and kind of broad look at the value that they provide to people. Can you share a little bit about the importance of multi-development to the company today and in direct selling going forward?
Yes, I think something's important also about our story as a family of my parents when they started. I think it was never about the money. They were not pursuing money. They were pursuing truly changing their lives, changing their health, changing their reality. And of course, if they find a way to do that, share it with other people. So that ties completely to the multi-development core that we have. We understand that being successful means that all of your parts in your life are balanced, and how important is to have your personal life, your finances, of course, and the part of the product being balanced, so you can be a successful person, entrepreneurship, distributor. So that being said, for Omnilife, it's super important to see every aspect of a career, and having tools for our distributors to be successful, to work on themselves, to work on the beliefs that they have, to change some mindsets that they grew up, so they can be successful. Because we understand that if we invest and we give people tools, eventually they will be successful, and us as a company will be successful. So it's a win-win situation for our distributors. And honestly, it's probably a very uh not, I would say, a very important part of our values, to really take care of people in the whole aspect of their lives. And we have a platform that is called Crescendo, which is a platform that is designed to give our distributors content, coaches. We have sessions, and they can take all these sessions. It can be online, or it can be in their countries. We travel in all of our countries with our coaches, so they can take these sessions, and it's a personal journey. They have to work on themselves. It's people that are trained to help you improve, to understand what you're missing, understand what you're good at, and it's very well designed for our distributors to succeed. So it's very interesting. I think it's one of the most important things about our companies. In the webinar, we talked to other companies, and they were starting to do it, because honestly, you do have to take care of their personal part. You have to teach them how to work on themselves, because they have to teach other people to do the same. And to let them know that success is a whole thing. It's not only money, it's not only health. If you don't have health, you don't have anything. If you don't work on yourself, it's hard to be successful in business, because you have things to change. So it's a very important part of us. We do invest a lot in Creciendo, and all of our training programs or courses and everything. It's super important for Omnilife to provide this tool for our distributors.
Yeah, and I think it's also really interesting that this isn't just a platform for the field or for the distributors, but you've also made it part of the corporate employee experience as well. Can you share a little bit about the importance of kind of having, both your stakeholders, both sides of the fence, kind of being a part of that same program and platform?
Yes, we have the same platform, but for our staff, because we also want to have a better staff, and to give them also tools to be better at their work, because eventually that will translate in how we serve our distributors. And we invest as well is in our staff, in our corporate offices. In every country, we give them tools, so they can have also this balance, and that will translate in the work that they do for our distributors and for the company. So it's very important to approach all of our people inside and outside. So it's honestly one of the most important things, to have a multi-development idea everywhere or anything that we do in Omnilife in Seitu.
Yeah, it is such an important value, and it has been such an important contributor to the company's success. And I know multi-development isn't just one of the ways that the company focuses on people. Can you share more about how this idea of kind of focusing on people is ultimately going to lead to the results that you want? I know that's something that your parents believe deeply. Can you share more on that?
Yeah, I think a very important part of our culture is the connection. We always try to connect on every level, on every instance. We have our events that me and my brother do, but the whole family is involved, my brother-in-law, my sister, and we have a very close contact to our distributors. We travel every country that we have presence on, and we always try to have this close contact to understand their needs. And our staff is the same way with our stores. The contact is very close. We have our own call center. It's ours. So I think the connection and being very close to our people really gives us another perspective. And also, I think the connection is very important. You have to trust the company you're in. You have to believe in them. You have to be taken care of. You have to have a close contact, and you have to feel understood. So it's very important for us to have a close connection to everyone that it's with us. And I think that makes us very different because we really having that close approach, honestly, is what gives us the sensibility to make things better, to give them more tools, to understand what can we improve, to also know that we're very good at some things, and people tell us their feedback. And I think honestly that makes Omnilife very special, to have a family-owned business, but also the staff feels like a family, the people feel like a family, and working together. I think what has made us successful for 32 years. I always say that I think success it's only success when it's with people. I don't think you can be successful by your own or being in your own world. You have to share it with people, and that what makes life so special.
I agree. It certainly takes a lot of people working together and supporting to achieve success. And to your point, also to really enjoy it. It's hard to enjoy it if you're all alone, but it's more enjoyable when it's with those that you care about and those that really helped work to get you there. And one of the other ways that the company has been able to remain close to the customers and distributors is through the company stores. And this impacts so much more than just distribution. This isn't necessarily part of a distribution strategy, but more about brand experience and product experience and distributor experience. And a significant percentage of revenue comes through these stores in all markets. And I'm wondering if you can share a little bit more about the importance of this strategy to the company's success.
Yeah, I think, for example, in Mexico, we have more than 80 stores. So we have presence in most of our states in Mexico. Even in some cities, we have 3 or 4, depending on the size of the city. And I think it's very important for many reasons. I think it's something also very organic of the company to open a distributor center or a store, to be close to people so they can have a space in their city. But I think it gives us many things. First, the experience, as you said, we're rebuilding our stores. We're creating new experiences to people to have a close contact with our products, to feel them, to taste them, to see them in person. I mean, online is amazing because it's fast. You can see the products really easily. You have all this information, but I think seeing in a store makes the experience completely different. You can honestly see what the company is about, have that credibility, which I think is super important for this type of business, that you can take your distributors or your clients to the store and show them what Omnilife is about. You can meet our staff that it's very well prepared and trained to provide the best service to people, to answer their questions, to show them the products, to channel them to any of our platforms or call centers if they have a question. So I think that credibility and that trust to have it in a store is very important. Also, I think something that it's very important is when you're starting in Omnilife and when you sign your contract with the company, being in a space that it's from the company will give you a lot of trust and will you will feel welcome, because we understand that this is a big business and we want people to know the opportunity, that it's very safe, it's very certain, that you can grow however you want to grow, as much. We're ready for it. So having a store, a physical place, really can give people the trust that they need and feel welcome to a company that will change their lives. Because I've seen it for 30 years. We have changed a lot of lives. My life was changed. My parents' life was changed. So I think the stores have a very important role in the starting of a distributor, in their career, in their path, in their maybe their doubts and everything, the credibility, and also having a space where they can buy the product in physical. I think it's very important. So it's an overall thing, but it's also very organic for the company when people are growing in a certain area to put a store there, because we understand that it can be a tool for them to keep growing.
Yeah, it is such a really successful and important part of the strategy. And as you were talking, you made a comment, and it almost kind of made me think of that as the stores as this broader analogy. Within direct selling, online has its place. It can be helpful in certain customer journeys or distributor journeys, but it's that in person that really is going to create the deepest and longest term relationship, whether it's with a customer or a distributor, and having the opportunity to, in these touch points, to experience the brand and the product, just have a huge impact on the lifespan of a customer and distributor. And also, I think it's really interesting how you look for pockets of growth, these different areas, and then build a store to support the growth that's happening there. And I also think of what an interesting incentive it must be to those distributors in those areas to create enough demand and enough sales volume to warrant, having a store there to then help take them to the next level. So I know that about 90% of all the revenue in Mexico is coming through the stores, and it's about 50% in the US, which I have to be honest is way more than I thought. When I initially heard you have stores in the US, about 20 of them. Can you talk about the US store experience and the role that it plays in growing the market in the US?
Yeah, I think for me it was a surprise to understand that other companies in the multi-level field don't have stores because for Omnilife it's very natural to have a store in the cities that we're growing or the cities that we have presence on. I think it's about the culture. Most of our distributors are Latin, so they have this culture of going to a store, and probably also the person they invited them to Omnilife maybe is in another country, so they have the culture of going to the store. So I think that translated to the US as well. But we have a good online presence in the US, which is very different to other countries. And I think it's very interesting because of the territory, of the tools. I mean, the US has a lot of online presence. Most of the brands are online. And I think that also is a good tool. And we have to improve and make it better. So we offer that service to our distributors, clients, and everyone. But I think having the store, we go back again to the credibility, to the trust, and having a store in the US that it's very different to other companies will create that connection that we're looking for. So we don't want to lose that connection, even if the market is different, even if the ways that they sell are different. The stores are still very important for us. The experience is very important for us. The contact with our staff is very important. And I think that having a physical place makes a lot of difference in how they develop their business and how they also create these connections with the people that are sharing the products with. And also we started doing a new rebrand of the stores to have a more close contact to the products. For our beauty line, Seitu, we launched our own store for only Seitu and Chihuahua, which is one of the biggest cities in the north of Mexico. and we understood what the client needs. They need to smell, they need to try, they need to test. And it's very important for us to evolve our stores to offer a better experience, because the world is changing, the habits are changing. There's a lot of competitors, there's a lot of brands, there's a lot of products. I think we're overwhelmed with the quantity of products in the market. So having a store that you can see the products in your hands and taste them and smell it makes a difference. So we're also trying to improve the beauty experience in our stores, and I think they look amazing. They're designed with our needs, how the people use the space. We have a very special place for new people when they sign the contract. So we really invest a lot on this experience, because we understand how important it is for people to feel they can trust the company, they can have a backup from the store, they can share with the staff or other distributors. So I guess in the US, the challenges are totally different in the digital part for us, but having that special factor of the stores makes us different and makes distributors feel that they have another tool for their business.
Absolutely. I think that concept of the stores being a tool for the distributors is really important, and really informs how you develop them, how you staff them, the activities that happen there. And I went online and looked at some of the photos and videos of your store. They're beautiful. I know that there are these incredible experiential touch points with the brand and with the company.
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our remarkable speakers, esteemed attendees, and generous event sponsors for their invaluable contributions in making the DSN 20th Anniversary Spring Event an unparalleled success. For those who missed any part of the spring event or wish to revisit the informative sessions, replays will soon be accessible in the DSU On Demand Library. This exclusive resource is reserved for DSN supporter companies. Log into the DSU library using your unique company code to access the spring event's content and more than 250 additional presentations. If you're interested in becoming a DSN supporter, please contact us at support@directsellingnews.com. We also invite you to join us at these upcoming DSU events. The first ever DSU Europe event in Tring, United Kingdom, takes place June 5th and 6th and is open to all active corporate direct selling executives and event sponsors. Please extend the invitation to your international colleagues to attend and learn from their peers. And we hope to see everyone here in the US in the fall at the next DSU event, September 23 through September 25 at the Irving Convention Center in Irving, Texas. Registration is now open and free for both events. Visit dsnevents.com today. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Another thing that's really impressed me about the company is the way that it maintained connection with the distributors, with the customers, and that kind of personal touch as it expanded internationally through Latin America, into North America, and over to Europe. Can you talk about some of the important learnings for you, for the organization, as you expanded internationally?
Yeah, I think the expansion occurred very naturally. People were asking for the products in different countries. So that's how we started to expand. When we saw people interested in trying our products, was Omnilife really invest on having the best quality in our products. We understand completely that our products are the tool for people to change their life. So I think the results of our products are super important. And when you start showing your results, people find interest. So that's how we started growing to another countries. And I think the challenge for now, I guess now that we're leading the company, is to really start to tropicalize in every market that we're present. So for a good example is Brazil, which is a huge market. People are very used to the multi-level companies. It's a very multi-level country, but also has a lot of opportunity. So we started in Brazil almost 10 years ago. It's the only Mexican multi-level company in Brazil, which is very interesting. And we have different products for the people of Brazil. In Seitu, we launched a new line just for them, which is very interesting because we understood that we had to tropicalize our products. we had to speak them differently, we had to approach them differently, so they had the tool to succeed in Omnilife. And I think that can be applied to every country that we are. We need to understand the need of the country and tropicalize as much we can do, of course, with having the same opportunities in every country, the same compensation plan, but having this tropicalization is really important. And we have offices in every country that we are. We have presence, we have our stores. And I think that gives us an advantage because we understand the market from a different perspective. We have our managers there that can tell us information, they can handle the country. So I think that connection, but also that care to their specific needs, it's what has made us successful in Latin America, in the US, and in Europe. And in Europe, it's a very interesting story because since the beginning, we had a connection with Europe. Our beauty brand was made in Europe. Our main partner is in Barcelona. So Omnilife opened in Europe a long time ago, and my parents live in Europe for a while, so they understood how it worked, and my brother as well. And we started in Italy because of the language. We thought it was a good market to start, and then we moved to Spain so we can have our operations for the European Union from Spain, which is very interesting because we can send everywhere. Honestly, it's amazing how they work. And also because of the language, we have a Latin community in Europe as well in the US, because the culture or Omnilife culture, it's Latin, so I guess we empathize very well with the Latin community in Europe. So the language is very important. We have tropicalized things in Spain for all the countries. I think a good example is our products in Europe have have Portuguese, have Spanish, have English, have French. So we really try to connect with their language so they can feel part of the company. So it's all about tropicalization. It's not only changing the language, but it's also understanding the different needs of every country. Europe, even though they're Latin, it's another market. People have other needs. There's a lot of competition. It's different ways of living, different ways of everything. So we really have to be smart to give them the tools they need to approach different markets in every country that we have.
Yeah, each market can be so unique and have such different drivers from their customers, from their distributors. But I agree with you. I think creating those deep and lasting connections to distributors and customers, to have that, you really do need a team in an office in that market that can nurture and foster those relationships. I want to talk a little bit about something that you also do differently there at the company compared to some others around the marketing. And you spend and invest in a lot of the sports marketing. I know that's had a big impact. Can you talk a little bit about this marketing strategy?
Yes, we like to do things different. I see now. We like to be very different. I think it's our another DNA, because our end goal is to really help people. So if we have to change our ways to make things better, to transform, to improve, we're gonna do it because we're really interested on people's lives and people's health. So now that I hear you, we do things differently. We do, because we really want to take care of people, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, we have our own team, our soccer team, Chivas, which is the biggest team in Mexico and one of the most important clubs in the world. I'm very proud to say that because it's true. And I think when my dad bought it 20 years ago, I think it was the same vision. He wanted to find another way to change people's life, and sports honestly are the best way to change someone's life. It's such an important team in Mexico. We have a huge fan base. So I think the vision, and even though it's very different to Omnilife, they share the same mission: to change people's lives, to make people better, to transform lives through health and through sport. So they have a lot of similarity, even though they're worlds apart. So we have a sponsorship with Chivas, Omnilife, and Seitu has a sponsorship with Chivas Femenil, which is our girls team that it's a league that started growing really fast, and we have really supported and being so happy to have a girls league in a women's league in Mexico. So I think the partnership, it's very organic because we share the same vision. And it's also a strategy to create a lot of brand awareness for both of our brands. And I think we're gonna invest a lot in that so people can get to know us and get to know the opportunity. And it's a good, I mean, it's very interesting. And I think it's we have learned a lot about the soccer business, and you can learn from both businesses and apply it to each business. But I think this is a very strategic partnership, and we can really, as I said, create brand awareness for Seitu and Omnilife and our products, of course, because we are very interested in health and sports and giving people a healthy lifestyle. And our products are amazing. So if people that are interested in soccer want to change their health, we have the products for them. And I guess that's with the sports teams. And of course, we have a lot of strategy. I think the multi-level world of marketing is changing. We have to do new things, maybe that we didn't do before, which has been a challenge, of course, for me and my team, because we have to try to do things differently and to approach new customers and how to do it better without losing the connection, and how we can show what we are with influencers or these new trends that are coming up that other brands are using. So this year is very interesting for us. We have a lot of goals to reach with our marketing team to build the brand awareness that we want to share to the world, our products, which I think is very important for people to get to know our products, because we have spent a lot of investment on making really good quality products that give results to people. So I really want to tell the world what we have. So we're trying to do things differently, to approach new markets, to improve all of our online platforms, to have a better service. So we're trying to do things differently, I guess, in the marketing part, and we're trying to learn the new habits. I think the consumer has new habits. They have more knowledge, which I think it's super important, because when we first started Omnilife 30 years ago, I remember I used to drink vitamins since I was born. The other day they asked me, when was your first time trying a product of Omnilife? And I was of course, my mom used to drink everything, but I was born and already drinking or shake. So I think 30 years ago, people didn't know much about products or ingredients or all this that we offer. And now there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of information, there's also a lot of disinformation. But I think it's very interesting to approach a new consumer that knows more about our products. And I think it's amazing because we are offering something with very good quality, with very good ingredients. If someone already knows about it, they can understand our product much better. So it's very interesting. I think it's a challenge. I think we're seeing new challenges for us at Omnilife on how to be better, how to speak better, how to communicate better, how to talk about the products better. And we are really trying this year to make different marketing strategies for us.
Well, you've definitely found some really innovative ways to create that brand awareness, that credibility, that affinity that you've mentioned is so important to building the company. And you're right, marketing, I feel especially, is always challenging because it's always changing. New platforms, new tools, new ways of communicating and connecting and interacting. So yes, and a constant state of learning, but your company's done an amazing job. And you know, the marketing under your leadership with innovating new ways to get the word out. So I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
So every direct selling company right now wants to create greater connection, find greater success in the Latin American markets and Latino communities here in the US. And you've talked about some really important considerations, things that should inform how a company approaches this strategy. And to start with, you've kind of said that you need a strategy. You can't just go in, with some translations or something like that. You really need to understand and know the culture. Can you talk a little bit more about the importance of having an entire strategy for reaching these markets?
I think the first is understanding that their needs are very different. There's a lot of Latinos that have different circumstances in the country. So for a Latin community or approaching this market, you have to think differently. It's not like you're gonna apply what you know and just translate it to Spanish. You have to think differently. You have to have a multicultural team that understands the different Latin countries, because Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia, there's every culture, every country in the US. So I think it's not translating, it's understanding their culture. Most importantly, and this is something I said, I think many times here, but my dad used to say a lot, you do need to understand what they need, what their needs are, what they value, what they achieve, what their family needs. Because if you understand that, you can give them better tools and they can understand your company much better. For us, I think since we're Latin and we're Mexican and of course Latin, and we have people from all Latin America, for us maybe it was more natural to approach this market. I don't think we planned it, but since we share our values, our culture, or interest, it's similar, and we talk like this. So of course Latin community is our community in the US, but I think the key factor is understanding their needs. It's not just trying to apply your company to Spanish or a Latin communities, understanding what they need and how can you offer the product that you're giving them, and how they can honestly use it to change their reality. And maybe some people need extra money, maybe they need a job. It's really understanding what they need and applying it to that. Also, I think the connection part, being very close to them and feel opening the door for them, and really be welcoming as a company to anyone, to not having any expectation, anyone. So in Omnilife, I think it's very important that it's something that I've heard all my life from the people that started Omnilife. Omnilife is for everyone. Even if you have a degree, even if you're not, even if you have a job, even if anything that you have, you can be successful at Omnilife. And I think that's opening the door to anyone that wants to work hard, that wants to change their life, that has the burning desire to make things different. So having the door open to anyone, I think is super important, and doing it with your heart. Like, it has to have the connection in the heart. I know it sounds very emotional and very, I guess, sensitive or not business oriented, but it's all about community. It's all about taking care of people. It's all about helping them change their life. And if they succeed, you're gonna be successful. So having that sensibility, I think Latin community is what it's about. We're very sensitive. We're very family oriented. We really like to take care of our people. It's a clear example. They go to the US following a dream to really help their families back home. So I think that's a very key factor, that they're willing to sacrifice, they're willing to put in the work just to change their lives and their family's life. So if you understand that and you understand what they need and give them exactly what they need, it's gonna be, I think it's a good way or a good path to approach the Latin community or the Latin market in the US.
I love that. There's so much important in what you just said. And I know I'm going to go back and listen to it. And I hope we all do as well. And you made the comment talking about heart. You said, I know it doesn't sound really business oriented, but I think it exactly sounds business oriented, understanding, with your heart, the needs of whoever you're serving, your distributors, your customers, understanding what motivates them, what drives them, the needs that they have, will allow you to create that deeper relationship. So I think that was perfect. So I'm going to shift into kind of my last few questions. You've been more than generous with your time, and I know you're so busy there. But I want to, for a second, kind of take a look back and a look forward. And I just wanted to know what it's like, kind of at a personal level, for you and your siblings to be kind of that next generation and walking in your family's footsteps, leading the company there. It must be an incredible experience. There must be so much pride. Can you share on a personal level what that's like for you?
I mean, for me, it's been amazing. I'm really young. All my siblings are very young. We're a very, very young leader family owning this business. And of course, it was a challenge. We had to learn a lot of things when we started 5 years ago. But also, I think we always, since we've been part of Omnilife all of our lives, we weren't that scared because we know the values and the mission and the vision. So even if we didn't know how to do it, we knew where we wanted to go. And that has been our guide throughout the years with every challenge that we have faced. And for me personally, I always strive to make things better. I try to always improve me as a person in the workplace, in my family, and I think always trying to do things better will eventually give us the results that we want, because we are always pushing to improve. Of course, we have a great company, we have a great history for 32 years, but the world is changing, so we have to change your mindset to become better, to adapt. I think one of the most important parts about a second generation like us is to adapt to what's going on, but without losing the core of the company, and having new tools, having a great team. I feel like we have a great team, a great staff that has helped us to understand the company much better with their knowledge. We have people in our staff that has been here for 32 years since the beginning. So it's been amazing to see their perspective, because they know so much about the business, and also bring in new people that give us a different energy. So I think the challenge for us is to adapt, to keep growing, to keep still take care of people everywhere that we go, to keep growing. But also, if we're gonna grow, we have to grow very strong. Like, we cannot just grow for growing. We have to be very strong, have our markets very solid, because that will give us the 32 next years of our company. And with new generations, we want to, of course, our dream is for Omnilife to live as many years as I can live and translate to the next generation of our children, and to keep the mission of changing people's lives as long as we can. So, I mean, I love the challenge. I love working here. I love what I do. I feel very, very, very blessed. I think it's an amazing job to be with people, to see how someone that didn't have anything or didn't have any opportunities have an opportunity, and we're the ones that they're spreading the words and the opportunity. It's honestly the best thing. It's very special to see how people can change their life with our products, with our business, with our multi-level or multi-development. And honestly, I don't see myself doing anything else. And I feel very honored to be part of this, of something so special.
That's such a beautiful idea, and such a beautiful approach. How you've talked about this idea of kind of adapting and evolving without losing the core and that vision and that purpose that your family had established at the very beginning. I have seen in other companies, sometimes the second generation almost attempts, in an attempt to preserve the legacy and the vision, they try to freeze it in time. and they don't evolve it and almost end up suffocating it. But it's been incredible watching you and your family take this approach of evolving yet staying true to that original vision. I think that is such an important and powerful approach. Thank you for sharing that lesson. So last question, a little bit of a two-parter, but you talked about, you know, some of the changes and the need to evolve. What are some of the changes that you've seen or are seeing happening in direct selling? And then what excites you the most about the future of direct selling in your company?
I think I see a lot of companies doing things differently, new companies from new countries, and I think the business or the field is growing a lot. I see a lot. I think something very interesting that I was talking about before is there's a lot of knowledge now about the products. So I think that's a challenge to really communicate very well what we are offering, to be very clear, to be very honest, so the consumer knows what we offer. I see new ways to do direct selling. I think every company is trying new ways to adapt to new habits. But I think what excites me the most, and I think what makes our field very special, is you can find everything in retail, online, but you cannot find the connection with someone that is telling you their story. They're telling you their success. They're telling you how they changed their health, their skin. And that's something that you won't find anywhere, only in direct selling companies. And we cannot lose that. We have to always maintain the connection, and the distributors have to always maintain the connection with people, because honestly, that's our advantage, and that's what makes us special. And the world, I think sometimes it's becoming more lonely, more individual, and success, as I said before, is better when it's shared, when it's common, when it's with your team, your family. So we always have to look for that. We have to keep going for as many years as we can without losing the connection with people, because that's what makes this special. So I think that's always exciting. That's always the most important thing. And we can improve in products. I think that it's also very exciting how we know more about ingredients, about health. Now I think we know much about the body, about our behaviors, about the food that we're eating, about everything that's going on in the world. And we have to be also very conscious of how we are treating our world and how we can do better with our products, being sustainable, reaching for new tools to not impact our nature. And we also have to be very conscious of the responsibility we have to our world, to our people, to our health, to everything. And I think we're very lucky. We're very lucky to work with a lot of people that are dreamers, that want to do things differently, and we cannot take that for granted.
Wow. Thank you for that. That is the perfect idea to end on for sure. I think that, you know, looking back over the last hour or so, the theme that definitely has arisen for me is this idea of connection. And it's something that I need to continue to reconsider, you know, as I work with companies, as I try to connect with consumers and distributors. And it's something that Omnilife has done so well for so many years, 32 years now, creating these connections over decades. And you've been an incredible example to the rest of us in the channel. That really is kind of our opportunity. That's how we stand out from every other channel, is to create those connections. Without that, you know, we should probably just be selling products like everybody else, but we don't. We do it in a unique way that fosters these connections. So Kenya, thank you so much. Give everybody our best back there at headquarters, to your family, and thank you for all you do for direct selling.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel very honored to have the opportunity to speak about Omnilife and to share what we've been doing. And honestly, it's a very honest conversation, very natural. And as I said before, we're very transparent, we're very honest, and hopefully we can keep doing this for many years because we're very committed to changing people's lives. And thank you for letting me share that and having me
Thank you.
today. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Please take a moment to subscribe and give a 5-star rating and review to help Direct Approach continue to provide more candid insights and interviews for direct selling corporate executives. Thank you for listening and supporting DSN and the Direct Approach podcast.